Okay. Thanks everyone. Well, thanks for joining. We love these workshops, getting together, meeting other business owners and marketers, and then just taking that time to kind of work through a couple of scenarios and just like refine the craft of being a marketer, get more hands-on and sharing some of the tools that are working with us at our agency, with us with our clients. And then just helping to kind of contribute to the digital marketing community. So that's what these workshops are all about. We've actually done this one. We did this one about 8 months ago, and it was a real big hit. But today we're going to be talking about how to build effective digital marketing campaigns. It's something that we do a lot here at Ollo Metrics, and we've actually learned a lot from using these templates that we're going to go through today with our clients. And then getting that feedback, because we also work with some really experienced marketers on the client's side. So, but one of the things that we're going to talk about today is the post framework. And you may have seen it in the ads leading up to this. What is this post framework? And I think it really is kind of a paradigm shift from the way that many campaigns are planned by default. So I hope you're all going to enjoy it. My name is Warren. I'm one of the co-founders of Ollo Metrics. What does Ollo Metrics do? We do Google ads, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn ads, you name it. We also do SEO, but what really makes us different as an agency, that from what I see out in the landscape, is we place a lot of emphasis on analytics. So we find that when the analytics are set properly and everything is kind of set as a foundation, it has trickle-down effects for all of your digital marketing campaigns going forward. We make better business decisions. We can have better conversations with our clients. And then you have that data, and you're making decisions based on data, not based on a hunch. So that's really what makes us different as an agency. Before Ollo Metrics, I used to be the director of marketing at a company called Kintech. And that's where I first started developing this campaign planner, just in my own work as a marketing director and marketing manager, working on the client side. So this is something that was built and developed over years and years. And really battle tested. Oh, sorry, I have to click on this slide. I'm also a lead instructor at BrainStation. So BrainStation is a technology education institute. And I also teach classes at the Squamish Chamber of Commerce and Jelly Academy and a bunch of other places, all on digital marketing. So really happy to be here. That's really where we got the idea for doing these workshops. We do a lot of classes with BrainStation, and we kind of do breakout rooms, and I just thought it was the coolest way for people to learn and engage with each other. So that's why we wanted to do this format with Ollo workshops. So joining me is Christina, and Christina, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, really nice to have you all here and meet you today. My name is Christina, and I work as a senior account manager at Ollo Metrics. Before joining the agency life, I was working as a marketing manager for over 10 years on the company side, where I was planning and launching online and offline marketing campaigns. And as many of you, I was also struggling with, how to be proactive with campaign planning and campaign launching. So I really believe that this tool, which we are going to introduce you today, will change your life and help you to be a better marketer as well.
Thank you, Christina. So what is this format all about? Ollo workshops. I kind of just talked about it. We want these to be. I found that I'm a marketer. I get marketed to a lot, and usually it's for webinars and all of that, which end up really just kind of being salesy webinars that say the same thing over and over again. So instead, we wanted to create workshops that touch on a different educational topic every single month. So we've already planned out our whole schedule for 2023, and we're going to be touching on a different kind of marketing focused topic every single month. So if you like what you hear today, tell someone, come back, sign up for new ones. We love to see familiar faces like Lindsay. I've seen you on a couple of these now, and so it's just really great to have a group of people that come back, contribute, and we can also learn from as well. It makes marketing a lot more fun. So the agenda today is I'm gonna do a little background on campaign planning, my story, and how we really started to develop this campaign planner. By the way, it's actually transformed a lot since we brought it to Ollo Metrics because we've used it across so many different industries now. Then I'm going to talk about this post framework. What is the post framework? What is this thing we're talking about, and how does it work for you? Then Christine is going to get into the campaign planner and then walk us into our exercise together. So if you see it till the end, we're also going to be sharing some free resources and doing a little bit of a Q&A as well. So yeah, I hope that you guys get a lot of value out of this today. So introductions, usually last time I used to do this with smaller groups of just going around the room, but if you like, just in the chat, just throw it in there. Just your name, where you're from, what organization or company you're from. As we go through this, if there's any of the information we can make relevant to some of the industries that get thrown in the chat here, then we will. And I find it's really helpful for us to kind of get a sense of the different types of companies or industries people are in. So if you like, throw it in the chat, say hi, your name, where you're from, what you do, and your company or organization. And yeah, I really appreciate that. Christina will have a look through that as well. And then when we do breakout rooms, we'll be moving around and making the information we give you more relevant. So I will also say, there's a test at the end. No, there's no test at the end. But we're going to do this thing. So whatever you learn from what we're talking about at the beginning is going to be directly applicable to the breakout sessions. So if you're the type of person that likes to do 10 things at once and then just get a free resource at the end, I would encourage you to just stick around for the first little bit here, because I think it's gonna really help out the next step. So let's get started. How to build effective digital marketing campaigns. How did this start? Well, it started because I used to be a marketing coordinator, marketing manager at Kintech. And my boss used to say this to me every once in a while with urgency. Warren, we need now. And it was usually because there was a press deadline due that day, or maybe there was something from the CEO that came down. Our CEO tended to maybe listen to whatever the latest thing that was going on, and then come and sit down with me and say, hey, we need this type of ad, we need this right now. So as you can imagine, it was quite stressful, and I would always get these last minute requests. So I was trying to develop a way to be more proactive with campaign planning. And so, looking online, finding all these resources, I didn't exactly find something that worked for me. And so I had to kind of develop the campaign planner that we're going to go through today. And it was really the culmination of a lot of different things, and then just boiled down into something that was really useful into mapping out all the campaigns, and then also learning from that and being able to copy those the following year, because our calendar was quite cyclical at Kintech, so that we didn't have to reinvent the wheel every year. We didn't have to reinvent the wheel every single campaign. We would create something and we'd improve upon it, and then we'd be able to learn from those past mistakes and those past learnings. So really what I was trying to do was avoid random acts of marketing. I don't know if you guys have heard this saying before, but there was a book written on it, Stop Random Acts of Marketing. So it's a thing, it's out there. And it's if you've got a CEO with that entrepreneurial kind of spirit, then this is just a part of your life. And because everyone's a digital marketer these days, and lots of entrepreneurs, they have so much information coming at them. They want to try things quickly. And as a marketer, or even as a business owner, if this is you and you're like, oh my God, I'm that person, then just know that having a plan and coordinating this plan and learning from it is going to give you much better results over the long term. So, because what most people do are they look at what the competitors are doing, right? Our competitors are doing Facebook ads. We need to do Facebook ads. Apparently, Facebook is favoring video. We need a video. There's lots of impressions, views, clicks, but how do we know if they purchased or become a lead? I see that one a lot. And then, are we reaching the right people with this message? So what's really happening here is they're starting with a tactic. They're starting with a tactic. Hey, our competitors are doing X. We need to do X. Then they're thinking about the strategy. Okay, on this platform, maybe we need to do a video ad or something to reach them and humanize our brand a little bit. Then they're starting to consider what the objectives were in the first place, and then who the audience is and whether they're even reaching the right people. It's funny because this is the most common way, or it's like the default for this to actually happen if you don't have a plan for it. is to look what else is out there and react to it. So this is the reactionary model, the TSOP framework, if you're going to give it a name, TSOP. But we want to really flip that. And so that's what this post framework is all about. We're flipping the default, and we're starting with POST. So the people we want to reach. So that's the who, right? Who are these people? Who is our audience? Where are they hanging out? What is our message for them? Why will they care? Who are we trying to avoid, right? So if you start with that person in mind, your ideal customer profile or target persona or segment or whatever you want to call them, then that's gonna really direct your marketing and your efforts towards actually serving that audience. The next one is the why. So our goals. Well, what is it? Why are we doing this for the business? So what are our targets? How are we going to measure success? And then the what, the strategy. So strategy and tactics are very commonly confused. I like to think of strategy as like a game of chess. Like, what are the moves? What's our game plan? If you're the coach, maybe you're a football fan or a hockey fan or something, like, what are your plays, right? What are your plays that you're getting your teammates to do? The position, the direction that you're going, the path sometimes is referred to. And then the how is the steps. What platform, what tools, what steps. And this is really, if you wanted to map it out, you would use like a bubble chart map to map out the steps to perform this. So as you can see, it's completely the reverse of the TSOP framework. I just made that up on the spot right now, but this is this thinking of starting here and taking whenever something comes at you, like, hey, we need to be doing TikTok ads. Hey, we need to be doing this, and going and starting with the people. Okay, wait, first off, who are we targeting? And asking that question is going to save you a lot of headache and panic in the future. So let's break down each one, and then we'll go into how to apply this. Christina's going to walk us through that after. So the questions I like to ask here, again, by the way, we're sharing all these slides. Who are we trying to reach or target? Where do they live? What are their interests? What's their job title? Maybe, especially B2B. How old are they? Gender? Why will they care? That's a really important one. So why are they going to care? Between everything else that's going on in their life, why are they going to care about this? And who should we avoid? Sometimes that's very important. So objectives. Why? So the primary goal, what's the primary goal of the campaign? This is one, I know that there's a few of our clients here on here today. Is something that I ask a lot about. The primary goal of the campaign, like, what are we actually trying to achieve? Are there any secondary or tertiary goals? So even if we are trying to do a lead gen campaign, maybe having this other, having a secondary goal of building a retargeting list or building an email list that you can reach out to in the future is something that you're creating leverage. So that's a good question to maybe think about here. How can we create more leverage? So the question to ask that I think is just so helpful is, let's pretend that our campaign just finished, right? So we've got this campaign, maybe it's 2 months long. Let's pretend it's that date. How do we know that we were successful? And if you can't answer that, then you don't have a clear objective on the campaign. So if you can say, well, we got like 30 leads. Okay, great. That's our objective. That's not only our objective to increase leads, but we've also got a target. It's 30. And so then you can start to look at what KPIs you need to track to be able to reach that objective, and ask, like, okay, that's our KPI. Here's our target. What's our actual going to be? So it's really just asking that one question. Write it down whenever you have to do a campaign. Ask that question right at the beginning. And you're gonna save yourself so much headache of miscommunication, because everyone's on the same page. And then the strategy, the what. Here I talked about leverage. I especially with digital marketing, I always try to think about leverage, how we can do one thing that's going to help something else, and then ultimately there's only one of you or one of your marketing team, so you got to run faster. Or you have to build systems to create some leverage so that you don't have to work faster. Maybe it's marketing automation or retargeting lists and all of those sorts of assets. So at a high level, what are we going to do to achieve these results? What's our game plan? Drive people to the blog, maybe use a quiz to generate email opt-ins, and then use email marketing to release a timely offer, right? So we've got like this 1, 2, 3 step. That's just an example. So what's our offer for this audience? Again, that's going to be related to why will they care? So then you can craft an offer that's going to be relevant for them. And is there a sequence that we need to follow? And how does this support other initiatives? That's when I'm talking about leverage. And then the final thing is, how are we positioned against our competitors? So our offer doesn't exist in in isolation, in a vacuum. There's other forces going on out there. How are we uniquely positioned? And then finally, tactics. How are we going to then start implementing the strategy? So landing page, never forget a landing page, and then email, ad platforms, whatever that is, organic social media, webinar, like this. That's going to be the tactic, or the group of tactics that are going to help you deliver that strategy. So that's it. That's the post framework. And Christina is going to walk us through how that applies to the campaign planner. So take it away, Christina.
Thank you, Warren. So now we all learned about what the post framework is. So the next logical question is how we can apply that in a practice, and what is the tool we can use actually to help us to put this strategy in practice. And we developed the tool, which is called the campaign planner. So what it is. Campaign Planner is basically a simple Google spreadsheet. It's a template which you can use and for your campaign planning, and it can be used basically by everyone: business owner, marketing manager, marketing consultant, the whole team. Why the campaign planner is important? It's basically a single source of truth for each campaign. You can use it. You can use it in a way that every member of your team can look at it, confirm all the data on it, and it also can be a tool to use for accountability, because you can assign a person in charge for every tactic which you developed in your campaign planner. It's also, as I mentioned, is a tool which is helping you to put the post framework into an action. And it's also a tool which helps you to align across all the elements of your campaign. So not just the strategy, but also the dates, budget, competitors, offer, copy, creative, and all the team members which are involved in the campaign planning. So I will show you an example of how this campaign planner was used for some of our clients, and walk you through all the sections. But this is a little tutorial on how we recommend using the campaign planner. So as you will see, there are multiple sheets in our campaign planner. The first one is used for the campaign's strategy overview. So it's a list of campaigns which you are running through the year, with the start date and an end date. So we definitely recommend to fill this section first, because it will give you an overview of the campaigns which you are planning in the next quarter. So for example, yes, Warren?
Well, for example, actually, we just used this internally recently to plan out every single workshop for 2023. Maybe that was the example you were just going to say, Christina. But that's this first campaign list section is you can get that kind of 30,000-foot view of all of your campaigns over even the whole entire next year, or if you can only see that far ahead, maybe just the next quarter. So thanks.
And then the second step, after you have the list of all your campaigns based on the date, you can create a campaign planner sheet for each of your campaign with all the details needed, and follow the post framework. The second recommendation is to use it for approval. So this is a great tool which you can use to start all the conversation with your team members, with people who are involved in the campaign planning and the launch, and also the stakeholders, which they need to get the approval on those steps. You can also use this tool to check if you are on track or off track with your campaign planning and campaign launch, because as I mentioned, it can be used to assign dates and person in charge, so you can use that for tracking accountability. And then what we also recommend is to duplicate tabs and to create new campaigns based on the previous one. As they said, or we all know, as we've been using this spreadsheet, is that it is always the hardest is always the first one, because you need to put all the details together. However, when you create a new campaigns and sometimes through the year, like you are targeting probably the same audience and using a very similar tactic. So instead of creating a new one, you can actually duplicate the ones which you already created and then just update that based on the actual campaign need. And then at the beginning of each year, you have the list of all the campaigns from the previous one. So you can just duplicate the whole sheet and update campaigns which you need, and remove those which maybe didn't work, and create a new one which you would recommend.
And that's exactly, so when I used to use this at Kintech, I talked about it being a very cyclical business. And so we would have the same campaigns every quarter. And if one of them maybe didn't land, like we would do a sandals campaign every year. Actually, so the sandals campaign would always kill it. It would be really good. Great. Now we don't need to think about that next year. It's already done. We're just going to do the same thing. Maybe we'll update the visuals just a little bit. But that one's done. And then maybe I think we did a Father's Day campaign one year, and it didn't really land well. Okay, so now we can take that one and think about a new way to improve it. And so then you start to build upon your past learnings and have an actual documented place for all of that. So just thought I'd add that context. Thanks, Christina. Go for it.
So obviously, it's a great tool, but it has its own limitations. So this tool is not going to assign tasks and due dates in your project management software. So you will need to use that. In our agency, we use ClickUp, but there are other tools for that, as Asana or Mondays or any other softwares. And it also doesn't show the copy for your ads or for your emails, for example, but it has an option to link different documents to it. So you can use a different mockups for emails or for Facebook ads or Google ads and link them to the different tactics you have in your campaign planner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now you know what is the post framework. You now have the knowledge about what is the tool which we are using to implement that framework into the practice. So let's have a look at some examples. So I'm going to walk you through a campaign planner which we created for a client of ours, Body Energy Club, when they've been opening a new location at UBC. It was a little bit tricky campaign because the timeline of when this location was opened, it was during the pandemic in 2020, and we had to came with some creative options how to help this location to get new customers into the doors. So let's look at the first section, actually, Warren, if you can click on the campaign list.
Okay.
So this is the section which I was referring before, the first step in the campaign planner. It's called the campaign list, where you can actually list all the campaigns you have planned for the year. So here we have 2 campaigns for 2 different clients, because these are the examples which we are going to show you. And you can see that there is the start date, end date, campaign name. There is a link to your specific campaign planner sheet, and then the business name and budgets. Those are the recommended or must complete section of this campaign list. And then we have some additional columns where you can add the information from the campaign planner, or sometimes if you are planning a very short or very simple campaign, just for example, just for one platform, you may not need to create a specific campaign planner, and you use these columns to add those information. However, we still recommend to have the campaign planner, or try to have the campaign planner for most of your campaigns, because as we said, is a single source of truth, is a tool which can help you to get an approval and accountability for your team, that if your campaign plan is on track or not. So this would be your first step. Add your campaign into the campaign list, and then create the campaign planner itself, which if you can click on the Body Energy Club, Warren. So the first section in our campaign planner is the dates, the start dates and the end dates. Sometimes for your campaigns, you don't have an end date, so it can be an ongoing campaign, because it's a campaign which is always on, or you are planning that through the whole year. Then you move to the second part, which is the budget section. So you have a business unit. It's just in case like you have a different budgeting per different services or different business units, and then you have a total budget which you are starting with. The additional line items like Google Ads, Facebook ads, and LinkedIn ads, they can be filled after, when you actually identify your tactics, and you can also add some additional section here depending on if you are running a different type of tactics for your campaign. This is what we use because we are a digital marketing agency, and we are working mostly with Google Ads, Facebook ads, and LinkedIn ads. But you can customize this template to fit your campaigns and your industry requirements. So these are the first two sections, which are estimating your timeline and the budget. And now this is the section related to the post framework. So the first section, P, means people or audience. So here you can create couple personas. For each campaign, you can decide if you have one persona, two personas, or three personas based on what your goal and what your audience target is. You are identifying like where they live, what are their interests, if there is any additional targeting needed, like they have some specific brands they follows, or influencers, or any specific interest which would be related to this campaign. You have age range, what they need, why they would care about this campaign, and then you have who to avoid. So for this specific campaign, for the Body Energy Club, we choose current customers as who to avoid, because it was a new location, and we wanted to introduce this location to people who never been in that location. So that's the reason why we haven't been targeting our current customer for other locations. So that's the P from the post framework. The second is objectives, or why. So for this specific campaign, we choose three objectives. The first one was obviously to increase sales in the stores, right? We also assigned a specific KPI for that primary objective, which was a coupon redemption, because we choose coupons to advertise for this campaign. And then we also use a target for this objective, which was 100 coupons. Our second objective was because we've decided that we want to promote this campaign to a new customer. So we wanted to increase the number of new customers, to have rather more new customers than the current customers. And the KPIs which we choose for this was the first time visit, target 75. And then our third objective, because we wanted also to use the fact that these customers or these people never been in our store or never heard about Body Energy Club. So our third objective was to actually build an email list, so we can use this information for any future campaigns, upsells, and increase the lifetime customer value. And for that, we choose KPIs as a number of subscribers, and target was $200. Target was 200, sorry, emails. Great. So the third letter in our post framework is S. So that means strategy. So we look at our objectives, which we choose in the previous steps, and try to think about what can be done, how we can actually achieve these objectives from the strategy perspective. So and this is the funny part in our campaign planning, because this is the part when you are thinking creatively, like what can we do, how can we achieve what we want to achieve, can we achieve our goals, and how we can actually start communicating to our audience. So to our primary strategy here was to actually create an offer which was the 50% off for people who never been in our location. So we've decided to choose smoothies as a service for this offer, and it was a 50% off your first smoothie because you've never been in this location, and you get the special discount. The second strategy which we created for this campaign was to once people get into the store, to have a strategy for upsell. So that was a coaching which was done for the sales team working at that location to actually open the conversation with the customers and offer them information about vitamins, supplements, and grab-and-go food, because it was their first time and first interaction with this brand in general. And then our third strategy for this campaign was to encourage customers to actually share this with friends. So that's the reason how we can actually get more and more email addresses, because they've been able to share the links with their friends and families. When we were working on, so before we move to the tactics, we also need to establish what would be our messaging for this campaign. So the first key message over here is basically the message, the simplest way how you can define the message of your campaign. It's not the copywriting or the message used for your ads itself. It's just a key message which you want to get across all the people who will be approached with this campaign. So in this case, we decided to go with 50% off your first smoothie at Body Energy Club UBC, because it's defining the offer, and it's also defining the location and the brand. Then we were playing with two options for our ads headline. So it was like more safe version, save 50% of any smoothie. And then the second version was more creative one. It's my first time smoothie promo. In this case, we use a sex sales strategy because it was appropriate for our audience at that locations. And it was also a fun angle of the message which we try, the key message which we try to get across our audience. In this campaign planner, you also have a section about competitors. Usually, when we are doing the campaign planning, we also audit what our competitors are doing. So here is a place where you can actually notice what your competitors are doing. For this campaign, we've decided to be more aggressive than our competitors. That's the reason why we went with 50% off, because our competitors were doing lower offers. And then here you have also a list for listing all your promotions. So we've done just 50% off for one product, but for some other e-com companies, like you can have 2 or 3 or more promotions running at the same time for the same campaign, maybe because you want to target a different audience or different persona and give them a different discounts on different products. So that would be the place where you can list all of those. So you identify your audience, you set up your objective, you know what is your strategy and what is your messaging. Now, what you need to do is to actually implement the strategy and decide what are the tactics for your individual campaign. So for our campaign here for Body Energy Club, we've decided to create a landing page using Unbounce, because we had certain limitations on their regular website, and we created an offer where they actually give us their email address and receive a specific code which can be used at the store. That's one of the reasons why in this tactic, it's also in the bottom, it's mentioned email as a tactic, which is the automated welcome email coupon code. Then we've decided to use our Google Ads. search ads and display for prospecting and retargeting to people, not to all the website visitor, but just to visitors to this specific landing page, because those were the new visitors or new customers who never heard about Body Energy Club UBC location. And we also decided to run those campaigns very similar on Facebook for prospecting and also retargeting. So this is the section which you use for tactics. If you go to the right, Warren, you can see that you can here assign the due dates when this particular tactic needs to be accomplished or complete. Then it can be checked if it was or not. And then you also have a person in charge, so the single source of responsibility. All these tactics can be chosen from the drop-down list. So if you Warren can click on that, those are all the options which we currently have in our campaign planner. These data are pulled from hidden columns, which are in I believe is J and K.
Yeah,
so if you open that section, you would actually be able to see all the options. You can customize this. So once you create your own campaign planner using our template, you can always add some additional tactics which would make sense for your industry, your company, or your campaign. What I would recommend is not deleting any lines from your campaign planner, rather hide them, because if you delete them, you will lose the information for the drop-down menu over here. So when you have your tactics, now you understand what is needed to accomplish your tactics. So we will move down toward with the campaign planner, and here we have a section related to copy and creative assets. Again, all are drop-down lists. So if you know, and for this specific campaigns, we've decided to go with the Google ads and Facebook ads. So we knew that we need to write some headlines and descriptions. And for Facebook ads, we needed to write some copy as well. So these were listed as a requirements to fulfill our tactics. There is also due date when we needed them by, and also the person in charge. And the same is for the creative assets, because we knew that we will be using some images and some creatives for our email banner as well.
Yeah, and just to add to that, is that we did put there's these little numbers here. So headlines 30, description 90, and stuff. Those are just character counts. So sometimes if you're writing this in a Google Doc or something along those lines, and you just want to know, like, am I writing headlines that are too long, too short? You can always reference these. It's really just a shortcut. You can always Google that stuff, but we figured it'd be easier to have this as a shortcut here, so you know what you're working with when you're writing these. And then same thing for when you're creating or asking a creative team or graphic designer to create the images or videos for your campaign. We have all that stuff here too. So we basically just pull like a master list of all of the specs for all of the different platforms here, and then so that it's just easier to work with. So.
Awesome. And then if you, sorry, Warren, if you scroll a little bit up,
Yep.
Into the tactics section, I just wanted to note here that we have the link and details column here as well. So this is the place where you can actually link all your copy or all your creatives to that specific tactic. So you know that if you are planning Google search ads, there needs to be a copy, and then you can use a different document to write the copy, but you can link it here as again a single source of truth. So everything for your campaign is ready here for review, approve, and then launch. Great. So that was an example of B2C client. We also have an example of B2B client, which is actually a campaign planner for this workshop you are attending today. And as you can see, the campaign planner has the same section. What is different here is the tactics part. So let's go and look at that. So as you can see, this part is slightly bigger than the one which we were showing you before, because we were using a different tactics for our campaign. So we have the landing page. We also have some offline marketing tactics as a registration form, presentation, basically the marketing collaterals needed for this workshop. We did some email series, so there is a list of all the emails which went out for announcing this workshop. We also we were also using organic social media, so we have a list of posts on LinkedIn and Facebook, as well as Google Business Profile. We were doing some updates on our company website, so there was a pop-up on exit, there was a sign up banner on each page. We did it also an SEO tactic related to our webinar, implement an event schema markup. And then we did some paid campaigns, Google search, display, Facebook, and LinkedIn ads. And then we will also do a follow-up survey, which you will receive after after this workshop. And you can see that all these basically have the due date, then the person in charge, and also the completion check mark. And this can be, as I said, like you can add all the tactics which you are using when you are planning a in-person event, for example, and you need to create a specific collaterals you want to share with your attendees or with people who attend. So all these tactics can be added here to your list, so you know what you need to accomplish before the campaigns launch or before the event which you are working on. Any questions so far?
Maybe I'm just going to point out one thing, is that, so the like what makes this so different than maybe some of the other, I'm sure a lot of you are working in marketing and business, and you've probably got your own spreadsheets and that you organize all of the details for any of the marketing activities that you have to do. The main difference with this is every single time we're trying to prime ourselves, and because, hey, I forget this stuff too. Like you just get so busy in your week and you're like, oh my God, we got to do this campaign. We got to get this thing out the door. And again, if you have to shortcut it, everyone jumps into all of this stuff that just needs to get done. And every single campaign sheet forces you to start at the top of, again, who am I trying to reach? Why will they care? What are objectives? Let's make sure we get those clear. What's the strategy that's going to maybe work this time? If it worked last time, let's do it again. And then thinking about like the message, the offer, and then back into those tactics, the things that need to get done. So it's like I would say it's simple, but it's when put into practice over and over and over again, it's going to have really compounding effects, positive compounding effects on your marketing campaigns. And then, you know, the next time we do a workshop, what do? Come in here, duplicate, and then we create the next one, adjust all the dates, you know, make all the changes that need to be made, but we have a template that's already created. So, and everyone's already familiar with what the old one looked like, so it just makes it so much easier. So hopefully that kind of connects with everyone here. I think I saw a lot of people on the document. So if you're on this, yep, a lot of people on it, just go file, make a copy, and then you can make your own copy in your own Google Drive, and then it's yours. You got this tool. I think Christina mentioned, like, depending on your role, depending on what you're doing, maybe you have more of an events focus. You might need to change this a little bit, and that's okay. But we wanted to give you a template that was like works for most people most of the time, and I hope it's really helpful for you. So the other thing that we're also sharing is this PDF. Nabila, did you throw this in the chat yet?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And so this is just if you wanted to have a little printout to, you know, everyone's at home now working in your home office. But if you I used to have this cork board at my office where I would print these things. So we'll throw it in the chat. This is just a nice little visual if you want like a one page. You can even just print off the second page if that's easier for you. So hopefully that helps. It's just to prime your thinking. You got to do campaigns. So whenever someone asks, hey, Warren, I need an ad, or hey, whatever your name is. Hey, Mike, hey, Clint, hey, Carolina, we need an ad, that you can go, okay, wait, before I just jump in and start doing this thing, let me start thinking about the people that we want to reach, have that conversation, get clear on the objectives, what we're going to do to reach those objectives, and then start thinking about those tactics. So just a little, oh, we've got one more person that just joined. So just a little intro to the next workshop, and then we're going to go into the breakout sections, and anyone that can't join that, that's totally okay. It's a fair time to hop off the call. But the next workshop that we're hosting, again, we're going to be doing similar like this, like a small group format. So it's how to set up and migrate to Google Analytics 4. So I think this is going to be a popular one. We're going to send out a in the follow-up to this workshop, we're going to send out a registration link to the next one. And so this is happening in January. It's me and it's Pranav, who's our senior measurement and ad specialist on our team. And I'm not sure if everyone here is aware, but Google Analytics, it's called Universal Analytics, but the Google Analytics that we all know and love is going to be going away in 2023. So Google Analytics 4 is now replacing it. A lot of people have already set up Google Analytics 4 and be running it in tandem with Universal Analytics. However, just like Google Analytics, you need to set up all your events and conversions and audiences and segments and all that stuff custom. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about some of that stuff in this workshop. So you can't just stick Google Analytics on your site and it's working for 100% of what you need it to. And so that's really, we're going to talk about how to migrate to that new Google Analytics. We're also going to share some free resources to make Google Analytics 4 easier for people. The reason is because Google Analytics 4 is so different than the current Google Analytics. So we created some templates and stuff to make it easier to understand all those new reports. So as a marketer, you want to be able to dig into those reports. Your boss, or even if you are a business owner, you want to have actionable data that you can actually do something with. That is knowing how to dig through those reports, or having a monthly report or a dashboard to use. So that before we jump into this exercise, I was hoping that we could get a screenshot of some of the people that are on this, only because this is I think it's a good group of people that came today, and we want to use this to kind of promote the next one. So I'm going to quickly stop sharing my screen. And if you are in front of a mic or you are in front of your computer and you can turn on your camera for 1 second, I would be eternally grateful to you, and we can just take a quick screenshot, and then we can share it and get more people to come to these in the future. So thank you, appreciate it. Leticia, I don't know if you're there. I'm going to pick on you because I know you. So thanks, Mike. Judy, are you there? Nathan, if you guys aren't, that's okay. But okay, and then do your best non-cheesy smile, and then I'll take a quick screenshot. Awesome. Okay, thank you for enduring that with me. Really appreciate it. You guys are good sports. So I'm gonna share my screen one more time, and then we'll get into the exercise. So at this point, if everyone's here, and I hope you will join us for the hands-on part. By the way, whenever we do a survey at the end of our workshops, everyone always says that the hands-on part is the best part, where they learn the most from. So, but if you can't stick around, then totally understand. You can drop off now, and we'll get into this exercise, and then we'll stop recording, and then we'll go into breakout rooms and get to work. So yeah, if you got to take off, totally understand. Thank you for joining, and really appreciate you being here. So the exercise, we're going to break out into groups of 3 to 5. There's going to be one person sharing the screen, and then one person taking notes. We're going to read the scenario that Christina is going to walk us through, and use the campaign planner. It's actually the 3rd tab, which is empty, to fill out the campaign details. Then there's one person who's going to share the campaign plan with the group. And then the group's going to give some, maybe we're just going to talk about it after. What did you learn? What was easy? What could be maybe more useful for you? But I think that once you actually apply this, then that's when it sticks. So Christina, tell us about the scenario.
Awesome. So what we would like you to do is to use the campaign planner which we shared with you, and actually fill that out for a company called Alpha Carpet and Duct Cleaning. So I will give you a little bit of information of what the goal for this company is, and what we are trying to accomplish with this campaign. So Alpha Carpet and Duct Cleaning is a Vancouver-based company providing carpet and duct cleaning to homeowners and local businesses in Lower Mainland since 2005. They want to launch a marketing campaign to increase their sales in the low season between holidays and early springs, so basically Q1. And they want to reach new and current residential customers online, and are looking for a way to really stand out from their main competitor, who is the Dazzle Carpet Cleaning. They have a goal of increasing bookings by 20% year over year during this time period, and build a marketing campaign to help to achieve this goal. So, you know, with this situation, you can be creative. Like, you can think about using any specific discount, or maybe promoting a specific entry offer, or think about, you know, go outside of box and try to brainstorm a strategy which would help them to use their $10,000 budget for the time between January 1st and February 28th, and help them to increase the 20% bookings by 20%. Any questions before we start the breakout rooms?
No, I think we're good. So actually, my question is, and I'm going to stop sharing, and then, but everyone's got a link to the slides. So if we're going to the breakout rooms, make sure you have a link to the slides. If we don't, I'll share it right now, because you'll just want to be able to access that in the groups. So there you go. Oops. I'm just going to put everyone as a viewer on. There we go. So that's the doc I just threw in the chat. So and how many people do we have here? I think a lot of people.
Three.
Just three. Okay, we can probably just do it here
right now, right?
So I know Clint and Nathan. Nathan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Hey, do you want to be our screen sharer that's going to go through this and start to fill in some details?
If somebody else wants to volunteer, that's good, but I can.
Okay, Clint, I'm going to ask you. Clint, are you?
All right, I'll sign up here. I'll voluntarily do it.
All right, sounds good. So I'll stop recording now, and then thank you for everyone who was watching online after. So thank you. We'll see you in the next one.